That's right. It's time for Bet On It, powered by WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by Joe Raineri and Marco D'Angelo of WagerTalk.com. It is Week 13 in the NFL, guys. We're going to get right into these primetime games. Thursday night, Buffalo opened 4.5-point favorites. Total 43.5 at New England. Now on the WagerTalk odds screen, we're seeing 3.5s popping up here. Marco, I'm going to go to you first. I have a little future with New England under season wins, so I need Buffalo to handle business, but this line move is kind of concerning here.
Yeah, this is one of those spots, Kelly, that this screams for you, primetime home dog. I'll be honest, the Thursday night, Sunday night games, we do these games each week because they're on TV for you guys. This is a play that I don't know that I can get to the window on, because I can really make a case for both sides, but the side I'm going to line up on, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, and I know things haven't been the best for the Bills in the last few weeks, but they found a way to win on Thanksgiving Day against Detroit. Maybe it was thanks to some poor clock management by the Detroit coach, Dan Campbell, but this is a spot where I look for Buffalo to get the job done. I don't trust Mac Jones to be able to trade points with Josh Allen. Also, we know how good New England's defense has been at times this year, but Buffalo presents a different problem. You've got a rushing quarterback. This is a quarterback that you've got to account for him because he'll take the ball down and run with it. And this guy doesn't know how to slide. He's going to go head first and get those extra few yards, which every time he does that, Buffalo fans got to hold their breath because this team is nothing without him. If they keep the game clean and don't turn the football over, which has been a problem for Buffalo at times this season, they get the win here in New England. I know Belichick is a home dog. It's very tempting, but I'm not going to go that way. Small lean for me. I've got it Buffalo 23-17. But Kelly, I'm not saying you couldn't talk me into the home dog either.
Ooh, this one's tough. As Marco mentioned, Buffalo's kind of shown some signs of weakness as of late here, Joe. But you know what hasn't been weak? That's right, those divisional rivalries under the total. And that's how I'm going to be looking here, I think, on Thursday night. Your thoughts on this total, and give me a little opinion on the side.
So, fun fact, the Bills have not punted in the last two games that they have played against the Patriots. Has that for some fun here. They have been extremely efficient. Having said that, I'm not buying it. Right now, the Bills' road games this year, 6-0 to the under, and going under by nearly 10 points in those matchups there. Belichick also, since getting upended by the Bears. Remember that disgusting display there in primetime where we were all forced to watch the Bears in a primetime game, and they absolutely made New England look terrible. Well, since then, they've played the Jets and the Colts at home. They've given up a total of 6 points. I think there's only one way to look at this game here, and I think it's to the under, and right now, what are we at? 43 and a half? I think the under, this is one trend I don't think is going to change. And the Bills, by the way, already 0-2 against the AFC East this season. This game's going to be close. This is going to be a one-possession game. I don't think we get to 43 at all.
Ooh, I'm glad Joe and I agree. But I'm going to be cheering for Marco's lean there on the Bills because I need New England to lose this game. Sunday, prime time. Oh, my God. This is getting ugly. Indianapolis, 11-point dogs at Dallas. Total 43.5. No opinion here for me. I'm not laying it with Dallas. I'm not taking it with Jeff Saturday. Joe Raineri, make it make sense.
I can't. I mean, I don't understand what this is. I will say this. The Colts are clearly better under Jeff Saturday. I don't know if that's coincidence or it just so happens, but, they are obviously, there's a renewed interest there in actually playing some decent football there. I don't know. I mean, as bad as the Colts have looked at times this year, don't the Cowboys generally keep lesser teams involved in games they probably shouldn't? It just feels like this is exactly the kind of game that the Cowboys over the last couple of years have, you know what, allowed the teams to hang around when they probably shouldn't. So the recipe so far for Jeff Saturday has been the Colts need to keep these games as low scoring as possible in order to be able to have a chance to win this thing late. So I don't like this game at all, but I especially don't like it from the standpoint, if I'm looking at the Cowboys, this is exactly the game in years past they throw up all over themselves. Double-digit favorites. They should easily win this game, and yet they either don't or they are scrambling last minute to try to get in field goal range to win it. I can only, look, it's dog or pass here. It's Colts for me or nothing at this point.
Joe, that's tough. I mean, look, you've got the Colts going into a bye week, and historically, they've been really good in that position. And you mentioned the Cowboys and some of their pitfalls over recent years. I had the under on Thanksgiving. I was feeling pretty good until that Cowboys defense decided to give up a late touchdown. Marco, have some of these offensive coordinators maybe found a weakness in this once dominant Dallas defense?
Kelly, I think it's more of a situation where Dallas went into the prevent defense with the lead. That last touchdown that you talked about was the old backdoor cover for me. I had the Giants on Thanksgiving, so I was happy with that touchdown. But this is a spot you look at. Yeah, you're paying a premium if you want Dallas. And apparently the world does want Dallas, because I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell this game didn't get flexed out of the Sunday night game. I mean, they have the ability to flex games. Why you would leave Indianapolis to make us watch them again after what we saw Monday. In Jeff Saturday, yes, the team has played better under Jeff Saturday. Now that you're 1-2 and they gave up 2 games in which the way they lost them, they lost to Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. Final drive of the game, Philly goes down after Indy led the whole game. They lose it. They have a situation on Monday. They came out first half. Hey, I had Pittsburgh. In first half, I was loving life. When they come out with that opening kickoff and went down the field, got the touchdown, and were in position again, and looked like they were going to end up, blowing Pittsburgh out. They had an opportunity to take the lead or extend the 1-point lead, and then it all fell apart. And let's not even talk about the last minute and 30 seconds of the game and the clock management. Did the novelty of the new coach, is that going to wear off? We always say ride a team when they fire a coach till they don't cover the spread anymore. Well, they didn't cover the spread anymore on Monday, so that's a concern. But a bigger concern is, do you want to lay 11 points with Dallas? No, I don't. So where am I going? I'm going to look at the total in this game, and there's only one way to look at this. Indianapolis is one of the slowest paced teams in the NFL. They're not going to run to the line. They're not going to run the hurry-up offense on you. They're going to try to shorten the game, get to the fourth quarter, and be in a position to win the game. And even when they do get to the fourth quarter and time's running out, they're still not in a hurry, as we saw on Monday with him not using the timeouts. I got to take this one under the total. I don't know how they're going to be able to score against this Dallas defense. I said it against the Steelers on Monday. Matt Ryan, perfect type of quarterback to face the Steelers because he's a statue back there. Well, same thing here with Dallas. With that pass rush, he's going to be running for his life, or I should say trying to fall down for his life, because he's not going to be running anywhere. This offense is going to struggle. It's going to be a question of how many points does Dallas get. And I don't think that Dallas is one of those teams, as we've seen, that's going to run the score up. They did run the score up on Minnesota a couple weeks ago, but that was coming off a loss, not coming off a win. I think Dallas will be content to get in and get out. I'm going to take the under 43.5 on Sunday Night Football.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's time for some TNA and maybe some teasers.
BetOnIT gets 100,000 plus downloads, views, and listens each and every week across all platforms. From YouTube to Spotify, from Apple TV to iHeartRadio. There's a good chance this is the first time you're tuning in, so an even better chance that if you have not experienced the professional handicappers at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we want to change that. Whether you are new to sports betting or just tired of the games of the year, and 100-unit locks, we have you covered. As the most popular show on WagerTalk TV, we would like to offer all Bet On It viewers that have not made a purchase at WagerTalk.com or SportsMemo.com this special offer. Use coupon code BetOnIt80 and save 80% off any one-day package of $15 or more, up to a 3-day all-access pass, which normally sells for $59. Pay only $3 for a regular price 15 package, only $7 for a 5% top play that normally will cost you $35, or pay under $4 a day when using the coupon on a 3-day all-access pass. So to all first-time users, just use coupon code BetOnIt80 to save 80% off your first ever purchase at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, and welcome to the family.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It's now time for some TNA with Ralph Michaels at Cal Sports LV on Twitter. The man with the pin, as Marco likes to call him, Stat Daddy, but I'll leave that between him and, well, Marco. Anyway, Ralph has made me a nerd chart for the end of this segment. I'm very excited. We're going to get to that here shortly. But Ralph, first of all, you have 3 NFL systems for us this week.
Yep, let's start off with system number 1. It's a system that if you follow this show weekly, you're going to have heard it a few times, but I want to make people aware when it's active. This has been one since 2018. It's been a system that, to me, makes total sense, and it's hit 61.1% of the time in the last 5 years. So when a team is off a straight-up and ATS win, against an opponent off a straight-up and ATS loss, and the lines between the threes. Makes perfect sense for any of you new viewers. A hot team that played well and covered the spread versus a team that failed to win and cover the spread in a game that's in the pick'em range between the threes. This says to play the Steelers against the Falcons this week. That record again, 66-42, 61.1% of the time. This one hasn't come up yet. This one hasn't happened often, but this one has cashed 81.5% of the time. And it's simply this. You're playing a division foe. You have a bye on deck, and after the bye, you're playing another division foe. Well, who does that apply to? That's the Washington Commodores. They're playing the Giants. They have a bye on deck, and guess what? They're playing the Giants again. The teams in that situation since 2010, so we are talking 13 years. It's only happened 27 times, but it is 22-5 against the spread, 81.5%. Think about it. You're playing a division foe. You have next week off. You want to go into that bye week being in a positive attitude. Again, those situations, 22-5, 81.5%. And the last situation is almost the same as the one we just talked about. Teams that are on the road with a bye on deck against a division foe. So the only difference is you're on the road, and in the previous system, you had a division game on deck. This doesn't matter. If you're on the road, you're playing a division foe, and you have a bye next week, those teams have gone 66.1%. That, of course, applies to the Commanders and to the New Orleans Saints. So System 1 says play the Steelers off a straight-up and ATS win, line between the threes against the team that lost. System 2, first time this year, a team playing a division team with a bye on deck and a division game on deck, 81.5%. And a subset of that system, teams on the road, playing a division foe with a bye on deck, the Commanders and the Saints, 66.1% of the time.
I love that, Ralph. I am ready for my nerd chart. But first, I know you have a little red-hot December special for us, guys. Right now, bowl games about to be going on. College basketball, NHL, NBA, NFL. Tell everybody what you got over at WagerTalk.com, Ralph.
Well, I am having a magical NFL season. On the year, 35-12, 74.5%. 15-3 since October 30th, 83%. 89% on plays 4% and higher. 8 straight winning NFL Sundays and 11 of 12 winning Sundays, 92%. I'll have a 5% NFL play on Sunday. But also, let's not forget, number one the last 2 years in NBA win percentage and profit. And let's not forget bowl games that start in a couple weeks. Bowl games the last 5 years, 44-20, 69%. Kelly, that's a 5-year, 69% record in the bowls. Get 30 days of all sports for $199. Go to my homepage, use the code DEC100 for December 100. DEC, you'll get 30 days, all sports, $199.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Apparently, you must have heard me bitching on Twitter about how unprofitable teasers were leading up to, well, about the last 3 weeks. They finally started to come around. So you made a nerd chart just for me. What did you dig up for us here, Ralph?
Well, you're going to be overwhelmed if you see it because there's a lot of data. So producer Dan's going to throw it up. And let me break it down for you and say this. I will have this on Twitter, so don't worry. You don't have to try to jot down numbers. Just follow me at CalSportsLV, and I'll tweet it out right after the show. So the top left charts are away dog teasers. The first column against the spread. The middle column, ATS plus 6. That means a 6-point teaser. The yellow column are this year's only. Same. And if you look all the way to the left, you'll see I did a pick, +1, +1.5, +2, +2.5, +3, +3.5, +4. Those are the most common teased numbers. The bottom left quadrant, away favorites, ATS +6 this year. Top right home dog, bottom right should read home favorite. You see the HF above the lines. It says home dog in the blue. That should read home favorites. My apologies. So let's take a look, Cal. You talked about teasers this year and how they got off to a bad start. Well, for you to play a teaser, you need both halves of your teaser to be 71% or higher to make a profit. People don't know that. So when you look at teaser records, take a look at the away dog teasers this year in the top left quadrant. +1.5 has gone 4-1. +2 has gone 3-0. And then you look below, people don't normally go to +3.5 and +4s to get to +9.5 or +10. Those two have gone 13-2. Below it, look how bad the away favorite teasers have been this year. 6-2, +0-2, +0-2. So if you have been teasing away favorites, you are actually 6-6. That's 50% when you need to hit 50. You need to hit 71%. The top, no question, the dark greens are those 80% or higher. Take a look at home dog teasers this year. 3-0, 5-1, 2-1, 3-1, 6-4, 11-1, 5-0, 4-0. So you see clearly, away dog and home dog teasers this season have been far superior to the ones listed below, where there's only one positive category in home favorites teasing them down. So no question, 2020, the year of teasing dogs up and not teasing favorites down. This chart, again, will be on my Twitter, at CalSportsLV, right after this segment.
I love that. Now, explain that one to Marco, because he is the king of teasing away favorites. No, all jokes aside, I love to give Marco all the grief. Ralph, thank you for all of your hard work always here on Trends and Angles on Bet On It. You're the best at CalSportsLV. Give him a follow so you guys don't miss out on anything else. Now it's time for me to reprimand Marco for teasing those away favorites.
Kelly, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield every week. I get no respect.
Marco, who's your road favorite this week in the NFL to tease?
Well, Kelly, since you asked, I have a road favorite we're teasing down to just win the game. Yes, we're going to take a look at Seattle at the LA Rams, and why not? We got Seattle at -7.5. First of all, coming into the season, did you ever think that we would see Seattle -7.5 on the road at the Rams? But here we are. The Rams are in total disarray. You can't get any worse than they are right now. We don't even know who's going to quarterback for sure on Sunday. The team can't get out of its own way. And when you're the Super Bowl champ and you're not even going to make the playoffs, where is the motivation going to come from? This Seattle team, let's give Pete Carroll credit. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gave them a shot. Every talking head had them finishing dead last in the division. And here they are contending for the division with the 49ers. We're going to go ahead and take Seattle. Going to tease them down to just win this game. I don't see how the Rams have enough offensive weapons left, and suddenly the defense isn't getting the job done either. I'm going to go ahead, lay it with Seattle for first leg. The second leg is very simple. This is a classic teaser. We're taking the home dog, and we're teasing them up to 8.5. Washington, they beat me last week, and it was the only loss I had in the NFL on Sunday. We're going to go ahead and take the +6 on that, on a 6-point teaser, get it to 8.5. Low total. Go through all the key numbers. It's a textbook teaser play. But let's look at Washington. This is a team that has scored 23 points or less in 9 of the last 10 games. Yes, they're 6-1 the last 7 games. Only 1 of those 6 wins came against a team with a winning record. And our producer knows what team that is. That was the Philadelphia Eagles when the Eagles had all those turnovers on Monday Night Football. I just am not buying Washington. Yeah, they're getting the job done. I don't see them winning as a margin. That's my teaser, Seattle and Washington.
I, too, have
Or
the
Seattle
Giants
and the Giants,
teaser.
sorry.
Yes.
You got me
I
all
also
flustered,
have
Kelly.
Oh, Marco. Okay, I need everybody to know we love Marco. I have been working with him for years now. He has absolutely always been very wonderful to me. And as I told somebody else today that I do a show with, if I don't bust your balls, it means I don't like you.
Pretty much.
Joe Raineri.
I mean, you really like me.
Do you have a losing teaser for me this week? Teasers have been really great the last couple of weeks. Finally starting to make some ground. Ralph put together a nice little nerd chart that's over on his Twitter. And he said, away dogs and home dogs have been the number 1 and number 2 best. Away favorites are the way to avoid. Are you taking a couple of home dogs? What do we got here for this week's teaser?
So there were a couple of opportunities early this week, including Jacksonville as an opportunity at 1.5. Unfortunately, that got bulldozed early this week and often. Now they're a 1.5-point dog. So that would have been great if that was still available, but it's not. The one that is, I think, is the Raiders going up against the Chargers. I'm seeing 1.5s right now, teasing it up to over a touchdown. And listen, what we saw last week, there's good Raiders, there's bad Raiders. I get it. But what we saw last week from this offense of the Raiders, they are built to be the kryptonite to this Chargers defense. The Chargers, once again this year, guys, that defense that they spent so much time in the offseason building and drafting and trading for, well, guess what? They can't stop the run. Again, you saw that. Connor, Kyler Murray. You saw what Arizona was able to do then last week. Now they're back on the road here, going up against a team that just ripped off 229 yards with the 12th man in the building there in Seattle. I think the Raiders are absolutely live in this one. I love being able to get them over a touchdown because the Chargers, another team that figure out games to be way too close, more than they probably should be. I think that's what we're going to get here. I think this is a field goal game, so anything over a touchdown with the Raiders, I'm good to go. And then the other one is, you got to go Browns at this particular point. They're a touchdown favorite. I don't like them as a touchdown, but asking them to beat the lowly Houston Texans is not a big ask. And yes, Deshaun Watson is back. I get it. He hasn't played in 2 years. What are we going to get from them? Who cares? The bottom line is hand the ball off left to Hunt and Chubb, and you're going to be just fine against this Houston team that can't stop a nosebleed. I don't think there's going to be airing out. I don't think Deshaun Watson dropping back 40 times. I think they're going to have success running. I think the defense was able to build off what they did against Tampa. I think they'll have more success this week there, working some things out. They got a little healthier. So for me, Cal, it's all give me the Raiders over a touchdown and give me the Cleveland Browns currently at 7, down to 1, just asking them to win the game. And even the Browns can do that against the Houston Texans.
Oh, boy. I don't know. Marco's barking dog may have something to say about that, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. Is the deli open? We know Joe is too high. And, of course, we've got some barking dogs.
Do you want to bet this college football bowl season alongside Dave Koken and Ralph Michaels? Well, we have you covered. When you look among the list of our handicappers, some are known more for specific sports, and when you mention college football, two that jump out are Dave Koken and Ralph Michaels. Mr. Dave Koken has been the all-time profit leader in college football since he joined WagerTalk, and while the regular seasons have been profitable, his performance in the bowls have been even better, going 45-22-1. That's 67%. Ralph Michaels was a previous general manager of Phil Steele Publications, voting on all significant college football awards, including the Heisman Trophy, before joining WagerTalk. Ralph's run and bowl action has been stellar, going 44-20. That's 69%. Our bowl package price will be $199 with the $149 early bird. You can lock in Dave and Ralph's both for only $198, coming out to just $99 each. That's Dave's 68% and Ralph's 69% bowl records, including any 5% best bets released in bowl season for just $198. Access will cover any college football releases from the Bahama Bowl on Friday, December 16th, through the College Football Playoff National Championship game on Monday, January 9th, from both Ralph Michaels and Dave Koken, and include any 5% best bets. So act fast before pricing goes back to regular price.
Marco, it feels like it's been weeks since the deli's been open for whatever reason. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but I need a sandwich.
I got a sandwich for you, and it's a big one, Kelly. This is a foot-long sandwich, perfect scenario. And for anybody that wants to call me a homer, I did have Pittsburgh on Monday. That worked out well. But as I always say, I bet against them as much as I bet with them. We're going against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. I know that the narrative with all the talking heads after Monday night is, oh, the Steelers are back. Look at Kenny Pickett. He had his best game and all of that. Tomlin's record is still has a chance to keep that non-losing record as a head coach intact if he can win some games down the stretch. This isn't one of them. And the reason being is, look at the spot. They're coming off a Monday night performance, national stage. Kenny Pickett gets a big win, first time on Monday Night Football. And now they got to play a second week in a row on the road. Never an easy task playing back-to-back road games, let alone do it on a Monday and come back on a Sunday. But look who they play next. It's the Baltimore Ravens. And if you follow the Steelers at all, you know that the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers not only are division rivals, they hate each other. That is the biggest game of the year between these two twice a year. They've been wars, and this will be Kenny Pickett's first experience with that. So he'll be looking forward to that. And as I said last week when we broke down the Steeler-Indianapolis game, I said one of the things that played into the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers was Matt Ryan is a statue. He's not a threat to run. Quarterbacks that are mobile and can run the football are the ones that give the Steeler defense the most problems. Well, they have a running quarterback in Atlanta, Marcus Mariota. He can take the ball down and run. They have designed plays for him with the run. And he's mobile enough just to extend the plays, not necessarily run. And that puts a burden on a suspect Steeler defense. The Colts never really tested that secondary on Monday night. It'll get tested here. I like Atlanta to win this game. I've got them winning it comfortably, 27-17. Take the Atlanta Falcons as my sandwich game of the week. Kelly, I know a small home dog that you'll be able to, get that one down.
All right, God, Atlanta did us dirty last weekend there, Marco. I know you were on them. Adam Trigger was in the group chat with me and Joe, and that was about all she wrote for Sunday. I had had enough after that one, and then luckily got to the window with Jags +4. Joe Raineri, are you high?
Oh, I am actually, it's a great question. It's not high enough, unfortunately, here today, Cal, this week. And it's not high enough because I'm going to look a little something different here. I'm going to look at a first half total that I don't think is nearly high enough. And we're going to focus on the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the full game number has continued to rise up, 52.5 right now. And yes, I think the first half total at 25.5 is going to be just a tad too low. I do think both of these offenses are going to have success. If you guys remember this shootout last year, it was one of the more entertaining games. 34-31, Cincinnati was able to get it done last year. Joe Mixon back, Jamar Chase is going to be back here. You're looking at Kansas City's the number 1 offense DVOA in the league, number 7, Cincinnati. These teams can get in the red zone, and we've seen this time and time again. They get to the red zone, and they put points on the board. And this is exactly what we're going to get here. 2 bend but don't break defenses. That's playing with fire here. If you guys remember, I told you on Monday, keep an eye on when it comes to Cincinnati first half plays because the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals is absolutely lights out with in-game adjustments for the second half. We've seen it time and time again, including dating back to last year, that all of a sudden teams that get out to a lead, the offense disappears in the second half. I think that may exactly be what we get again in this game with Kansas City. They're going to get points, but you know what? So is Cincinnati. It is not a stretch that this game be 17-14 at the break or 14-14. I think points are coming, touchdowns are coming. So I'm going to look at the over in the first half of Cincinnati and Kansas City at 25.5, Gal.
All right, don't hate that one. Slight lean towards the dog. Shocker, I know. Marco, no, not time for Marco Barco. I'm going to kick it right back to Joe because I want to know what his barking dog is. It better be bigger than Falcons +1.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do Falcons +1, but I will do Titans, and I'm going to do the Titans here once again in the first half, taking on the Eagles here. The Eagles, I think we can all agree now with the Eagles. There's one thing that is the glaring weakness of this defense, no matter how many guys they rip from the Golden Cow buffet and throw on the defensive front there. There is just only so much you can do with the running game, and it's not great. It's not great with what we just watched Green Bay do to that front of Philadelphia is concerning, especially when you got Derrick Henry coming to town. And Mike Vrabel is a good enough coach, and we all know this. It's amazing to me how Tennessee flies under the radar, ATS, continues to cover games, and everyone acts as if they get blown out by 21 every game. Vrabel is smart enough, and that defense is capable enough to take away, a la Belichick, what Jalen Hurts wants to do offensively there. They're not going to be able to run like they did on the defense of the Green Bay Packers. They're going to do their best to keep it one-dimensional for Jalen Hurts. We don't need them to have a ton of success in order to be able to slow that team down, but also Tannehill play action, Derrick Henry running the ball. I think this is another one of these situations where getting points in the first half with Tennessee is the way I am looking here from a dog perspective, because I think they go into the break either with the lead or at the very least tied with this Philadelphia team. We're not going to get 60, 70 points like we just watched. This is going to be a dogfight, and much like we just watched with Cincinnati and Tennessee, 10-10 at the half, that would be a winner. But I do think Tennessee is the play early in this game, and I'm going to take them in the first half as the dog.
Thank God for teasers. Otherwise, I might have had a conniption, if you will, over Tennessee last week. I'm glad I didn't get to the window with them against the spread. What a choke job by them. And speaking of choking, you might get choked by our producer Dan for picking against his Eagles. Marco,
First half. I didn't say game. First half.
Okay. All right. We don't want to make anybody angry on this show. Marco D'Angelo, are you going to outdo Joe here and give me a bigger barking dog?
Oh, Kelly, I always have a bigger one than Joe. We've got, we're going with Houston. We're going to take Houston plus the touchdown here. Hey, Kelly, why did you not give Joe any grief about his teaser with a road favorite? You know, you just let that slide right on by. You know, Joe's okay to do it.
Because Joe's not the one
say,
that makes me do this insufferable segment every week. We had to power through for like 8 weeks in the muck, in the mud of just getting destroyed by teasers. And you wouldn't let it go, Marco. You just wouldn't let me axe the segment.
Kelly, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, okay? I'm doing it for you. Tough love. We're going to look at this one. And I got to say, guys, this Cleveland teasers, I'll root for you, Joe. I hope they win by 2 and we'll all be happy. But I can tell you right now, you can talk to any bookmaker across town on Sunday morning, and they're going to tell you they are going to have so much liability to the Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson returning to the lineup in a situation where if you tease them down, they just have to win. I'm not going to buy into it. I can't lay points on the road. First of all, with the defense, Deshaun Watson doesn't play defense. And you're looking at the 30th ranked defense in points allowed, the 23rd ranked defense in yards per play allowed, laying a touchdown on the road. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Now let's talk about Deshaun Watson returning. The guy has not taken a snap in 2 years, all right? Remember, this whole time he was suspended, he couldn't even practice with the team until just a couple weeks ago. He was in training camp, and then he was out of the facility to just a couple weeks ago. There is going to be rust with him. Yeah, I do understand that Cleveland has a great running game, and all he has to do is turn around and hand off to Chubb and Hunt, and that should be enough. But I'm not buying it. Houston's going to be pumped up. This is going to be Houston's Super Bowl on Sunday. And all of the Deshaun Watson detractors, haters, they're going to be in full effect. It's not going to be easy for him. Does he want to have something to prove? Yeah, I'm sure he does, and he's going to be pumped up. But I just don't trust this defense. You give me Houston, and I know they were down 30-0 last week, but Miami's defense is a hell of a lot better than Cleveland's. Let's take Houston. Yeah, they're 1-9-1 on the season, but as I said, this is their Super Bowl. Remember a few weeks ago when we talked about a Thursday night crap game with Carolina? We said that was their Super Bowl, that game. This is Houston's. Give me the points on Houston, and go ahead, put just a little sprinkle on Houston as well. 23-21.
Marco with the ultimate buy low spot. You know who I'm not buying low on? That's right, Ariel and Andy. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we get their best bets for Thursday Night Football.
Bet On It gets 100,000 plus downloads, views, and listens each and every week across all platforms. From YouTube to Spotify, from Apple TV to iHeartRadio. There's a good chance it's the first time you're tuning in, so an even better chance that if you have not experienced the professional handicappers at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we want to change that. Whether you are new to sports betting or just tired of the games of the year, and 100-unit locks, we have you covered. As the most popular show on WagerTalk TV, we would like to offer all Bet On It viewers that have not made a purchase at WagerTalk.com or SportsMemo.com this special offer. Use coupon code BetOnIt80 and save 80% off any one-day package of $15 or more, up to a 3-day all-access pass, which normally sells for $59. Pay only $3 for a regular price 15 package, only $7 for a 5% top play that normally will cost you $35, or pay under $4 a day when using the coupon on a 3-day all-access pass. So to all first-time users, just use coupon code BetOnIt80. to save 80% off your first ever purchase at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, and welcome to the family.
Welcome back to Bet On. It's now time for some Prop Shop with Ariel and Andy. Andy, I'm not going to drive you crazy asking how your first quarter props are going because it's the same every single week. You're still crushing it. You got a couple up for this weekend on WagerTalk.com, but I am going to start off by asking you what you're looking at for this weekend. Ariel and I were kind of, for lack of better words, I'll say complaining that the markets keep taking later and later and later to come out. So you have some hopeful prop bets, if you will. I said I think they're tired of getting, we're not going to say what I said, but they're tired of getting beat by you guys by putting them out too early. So hopeful bets for this weekend?
Yeah, we'll go over some props that I'm hoping to see that I really, really want to see and why. So I really want to see a Latavius Murray rushing prop with his total over 50 yards. That way I can come in and take the under. He had a big game last week rushing for 92 yards against Carolina, but he only had 13 carries and he had a 52-yard run last week. Mike Boone returns and they face Baltimore, who's given up an average of 40 yards a game rushing the last 3 weeks. That is the most stout rush defense we have in the NFL right now. So hope to take advantage of Latavius Murray coming off of a big week. I really want to see a Patrick Mahomes passing total under 300 yards with DJ Reader back. The Bengals rush defense is solid again, and teams are passing on them because they know they're not going to have a lot of success on the ground. Tannehill had 291 yards passing last week. Kenny Pickett had 265. Patrick Mahomes has gone for 320 yards or more in 6 straight games. The Chiefs just don't run the ball when they face a good rush defense. I look for them to keep throwing and throwing and throwing. Why not? It's working. Mahomes should have another big game. And I'm hoping to see Garrett Wilson with a receiving total over 50 yards. I would go even up to 60 yards. The Jets play the Vikings, who have been getting absolutely carved up in the secondary. Since their bye week, they've given up over 300 yards passing to Arizona, Buffalo, and New England. And listen, Mike White looked great for the Jets. 22 of 28 for over 300 yards. Wilson had the most catches and the most yards. He went for 5 catches, 95 yards. Jets are now thin at running back. Don't forget that Michael Carter is banged up. So they are down to Zonovan White, James Robinson, and Ty Johnson as their third down back. I just don't think that the Jets are going to have a lot of success running the ball because they will be throwing a lot. I love what I saw from Garrett Wilson and Mike White. The receiving core of the Jets look excited, so I'm hoping to get a good number on Wilson to take him over.
Okay, Ariel Epstein, you sent me a pair of props, if you will, in our group chat. Give me those right now, and then give me a best bet for Thursday night.
There are 3 different games, actually, that I'm going to look at going into Sunday's slate, and that's for 4 different running backs. In the game between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers, you have 2 of the worst defenses against pass-catching running backs. That's why I'm going to target the Chargers running back Austin Eckler and the Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs in the passing game. So make sure to take a look out for those. The other 2 teams to target, the Seattle defense, also one of the bottom 10 defenses against pass-catching running backs. Underrated Rams running back Kyren Williams. He has been incredible in 2 of the last 3 weeks in the passing game. Make sure to look at his receiving yards as well, since Seattle is one of the 5 worst teams against those pass-catching backs. Lastly, the trend I've been looking at and pretty much blind betting every week, the Kansas City Chiefs in the passing game to running backs. Go look to the opposition. Always, the Chiefs defense has struggled against running backs that have success in the passing game. And that's why for the Cincinnati Bengals running back Joe Mixon, hopefully the public forgets the fact that he wasn't in the game last week due to concussion. Concussion injuries, they don't scare me when it comes to production coming off of it, considering Mixon at home last season had 40 receiving yards against the Chiefs in Cincinnati, the last game of the regular season, had 29 in the playoffs against Kansas City. If you could get a receiving yards prop for Mixon in the 20s, go bet his over. Those are overs for all 4 of those backs I just listed. That's Eckler, Jacobs, Williams, and Joe Mixon. Now into tomorrow's game, I'm going with another rushing yards prop, yet this time to a quarterback. The Bills quarterback Josh Allen over 43.5 rushing yards. Already seeing this getting up to 45.5 in some spots. And that's because Allen has had at least 45 rushing yards in all 4 games where he's faced a defense that's bottom 10 against mobile quarterbacks. That's what you're looking at when it comes to the Patriots defense, who allows the 7th most rushing yards to quarterbacks this year. You look at the list of the quarterbacks that the Patriots have faced already. Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, the 2 most mobile quarterbacks they faced, each had at least 80 rushing yards against them. Josh Allen is in the mix with those mobile quarterbacks. He's one of the rushing leaders for quarterbacks in the past couple of seasons. Go with the over 43.5 rushing yards for Josh Allen.
I like that one. I don't know how I feel about Thursday night, so always an easy go-to is props, Andy. Ariel just gave me her best bet. We've got Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. What's your best bet for Thursday Night Football?
Well, we have a 5% play actually up at WagerTalk.com for this game. So very, very excited about that. 12-4 on those this season. One of the other plays besides that 5% is going to be Damar Hamlin. Over 5.5 tackles and assists. These defensive props have been really good for us. Ariel and I feel like we've had a pretty good read on this. We both like this one. He's gone over this total in 7 out of his last 8 games. He's had 7 or more tackles and assists in 6 of those games. He's a leading tackler on the Bills, and he's second in assists. So he's getting it done with tackles and the assists, which we'd love to see. And the Patriots offense, they depend on these short passes. They depend on running. So you're not looking at a whole lot of explosive plays for really quick drives from New England, which creates a lot more plays and a lot more tackles and assists. He's in a great position to provide support behind the line of scrimmage, as evident by linebackers and safeties. They just rack up the tackles and the assists against New England. Safeties have cleared this number easily the last 3 games. I look for Hamlin to make it 4 in a row. So take Damar Hamlin over 5.5 tackles and assists.
All right. Well, thank you to my prop people, if you will. Ariel Epstein at Ariel Epstein on Twitter and Andy Lang at Bump Sports. Make sure you're giving both of them a follow. Thank you guys for hanging out with us each and every week here on Bet On It, giving us all of your prop knowledge because I know nothing when it comes to the prop market. So giving me those free winners is always appreciated. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's time for Best Bets.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It's now time for Best Bets, and I get to go first. I'm going to take the Raiders +2. There are some 1.5s popping up on the Wager Talk odds screen, so keep an eye here. I would not be surprised to see this game go to pick 'em or maybe even Raiders -1 at close, and that's because the Los Angeles Chargers have had a hell of a season as far as injuries go. I know I have Justin Herbert on my fantasy team. Yes, this team wants to make the playoffs for the first time since 2018. But boy, they're going to need a lot of help here. And I don't think this Raiders defense is going to do them any favors. You guys know I love a nice home dog here in the division. This is a Raiders team, as I think it was Joe said, there's good Raiders and there's bad Raiders. We need to see a good version of this Raiders team. This Raiders team as a home dog has been absolutely incredible. Don't lay any points with them on the road, but take them here at home. I'm going to take the 2 and probably should just play the money line because, of course, NFL games don't land 1, or so I've been told. Marco D'Angelo, who is your best bet for this week in the NFL?
Well, Kelly, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals at home, and they too are a small home dog, +2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And what's the over-under on how many times you're going to tune into a talk show this week that's going to talk about a revenge game for Kansas City? It was the AFC Championship game last year. They had the halftime lead. They blew it in the second half. Did they start looking ahead to the Super Bowl? Was it a hangover effect from the game the week before when they played Buffalo with that crazy final 2 minutes of the game and then overtime? I don't care what it was. I'm not going to buy into it. Cincinnati is playing good football right now. They've won 5 of their last 6 games after starting out the season 0-2. Was that a surprise starting out 0-2? Probably. But as we've seen so many times, that Super Bowl loser has a hangover effect the following year. Well, Cincinnati has righted the ship, and they've got the job done. Last week, they went on the road. They beat a Tennessee team. It was ugly, but they found a way to do it, 20-16, in a win-aided game, which should have benefited Tennessee, taking the passing game away from Cincinnati, but they still found a way to win, and that impressed me. I'm going to take them here. Kansas City, we know what they have done this year. They have been able to score points, outscore their opponents, but let's be realistic. They played San Francisco. They beat them 44-23 to start this winning streak. That's when San Francisco was decimated with injuries. Then the next week, they beat Tennessee 20-17. They were 14-point favorites in that game. Tannehill was out. They only won by 3. The following week, they beat the Chargers. Sunday Night Football, 30-27. They were a 5-point favorite, and they needed a touchdown drive in the final minute to pull it out. They beat the Rams last week, 26-10. 15.5-point favorites, just get the cover. Again, they caught the Rams decimated with injuries. I'm not buying Kansas City. Cincinnati's flying under the radar still, and Kansas City's getting all the love from the books and that revenge edge. The wrong team is favored in this game. Cincinnati wins it. I'm calling for them to take this one 34-30. It'll be a high-scoring game. Both teams will go up and down the field.
All right, Joe. There's no more 2-point home dogs to take. So who is your best bet this week in the NFL?
Well, I'm going to, you can read between the lines here, but my best bet's going to be a total this week. And you can see where the steam came in rather quickly because I thought this total was way too low, and it continues to rise, but I still like it. And that is the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings here. This total was around the 44-45 mark. We've seen some money start to come in and push this thing up a little bit higher. I don't see how we don't get over this total in this game. First of all, if I hear about Justin Jefferson one more time and how he's going to, Dalvin Cook and the Jets. Listen, Mike White has started 5 games, I think now, for the New York Jets. Each time, the Jets have averaged 28 points a game. The Vikings, I don't think they'll have. The Jets' defensive front's going to cause some issues. But we all know that Kirk Cousins at home, Kirk Cousins' weapons there, the ability to be able to put points on the board, I don't doubt it. I without a doubt, the Vikings are going to be able to get points on the board. But so are the Jets. This is not going to be a defensive crunch fest. This is going to be, I think, a pretty fun game to watch because the scoring will be there. I don't think the Vikings will win or going away by more than 1 touchdown. So I think there's a lot of things that point to an over in this Jets-Minnesota game. And if you can get 44.5, 45, 45.5, I would go over this all the way up to 46, 46.5. I think this is going to be a fun 28, 25, somewhere in that ballpark there. I think we get to 50 points, so I am going up and over with the Jets and the Vikings.
All right, Joe, giving out those totals. Try to mix it up for us here. We're going to take our last commercial break. When we come back, it's time to wrap it all up.
Bet On It gets 100,000 plus downloads, views, and listens each and every week across all platforms. From YouTube to Spotify, from Apple TV to iHeartRadio. There's a good chance this is the first time you're tuning in, so an even better chance that if you have not experienced the professional handicappers at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we want to change that. Whether you are new to sports betting or just tired of the games of the year, and 100-unit locks, we have you covered. As the most popular show on WagerTalk TV, we would like to offer all Bet On It viewers that have not made a purchase at WagerTalk.com or SportsMemo.com this special offer. Use coupon code BetOnIt80 and save 80% off any one-day package of $15 or more, up to a 3-day all-access pass, which normally sells for $59. Pay only $3 for a regular price 15 package, only $7 for a 5% top play that normally will cost you $35, or pay under $4 a day when using the coupon on a 3-day all-access pass. So to all first-time users, just use coupon code BetOnIt80 to save 80% off your first ever purchase at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, and welcome to the family.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It's now time for the recap. Week 13 in the what? All right, it looks like our graphics team is having a little bit of fun. In case you guys didn't know, Marco just slaughtered the NFL last week. And in fact, he slaughtered both shows except for, that KU plus 12 pick. But that's beside the point. Graphics guy Will, appreciate you making us laugh as always on the show. What a Marco picture. Steelers hat, mustache, loving it. Drop that recap graphic for me, Dan. We're going to go over Thursday Night Football. Marco says first line moving. He likes Buffalo minus 3.5. Joe said, don't overthink it. It's a divisional under. There's a lot of them this week, so I'm going to have every single one of those circled. Sunday night, Indianapolis at Dallas. Can't believe they didn't flex this one out for us. Joe said he's either taking the points or he's not playing. Marco says, don't overthink it. Lay the under. As far as teasers go, I'm going to take one from each. I'm going to take the Giants. From Marco, he's got them tied in with Seattle on the road. Of course he does, and so does Joe. Cleveland -1 with Las Vegas +8. I'm going to take the Giants and Vegas because Vegas is my best bet, and I like those divisional home dogs with the Giants. Are you high? Kansas City, Cincinnati, first half over, not high enough, 25.5. Sandwich spot. All right, I got to go back to the well with this Atlanta team that ripped my heart and soul out last weekend, plus the points. Barking dogs. Marco said, don't listen to Joe about the teaser. He's wrong because he thinks Houston +7 is a great spot for the Texans. Don't forget to sprinkle a little on the money line. Joe's barking dog is the Titans, but he doesn't want to piss off our producer, Dan, so he's only going to take them in the first half +3. As I mentioned, Raiders +2 is headed to 1.5 and probably pick them, so make sure you guys get on that one now as my best bet. New Jersey. Oh, what a day. I'm ready for the show to be over. New York Jets, Minnesota over 44.5 as Joe's best bet, and Cincinnati +2 for Marco. Yep, that was supposed to be my best bet, but he beat me to it in the Slack box. So take that for what you will. Marco and I both love the Bengals. We all appreciate you guys each and every week. You hang out with us on Wednesday nights. We put in a lot of hard work, and you guys put in a lot of hard hours watching us. Jump in the comments. I know Marco likes to chirp back sometimes, but we love it. Give me all the bad comments because guess what? That helps our algorithm, and that makes Johnny Detroit very, very happy. So give us a little like, maybe a subscribe if you haven't. Give us a nice comment. Give us a bad comment. We do not care because Marco is the only one that reads those. For myself, Joe, Ralph, Marco the Butcher. I can't stop the freaking graphics on the other page. They're just making me laugh. Mid, close, our producer Dan, and of course, our graphic guy Will for putting together these beautiful masterpieces. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Until next week, let's bet on it.